Sometimes I come up here and I speak, I have a lot of fun. Tonight I'm going to be just a little bit more serious because I have a topic that is kind of near and dear to my heart. It's a speech that I'm beginning to work on, and this is my first attempt at it. I know that each one of us have our battle scars. Each one of us have learned from the pain and the lessons that we've experienced in our lives. I would like you to think back for the times in your life when events happen that may have been like lemons, just a bit sour. There may have been an experience with a change or loss of relationship. There may have been a financial setback, a loss of a job, maybe an accident, an illness. Maybe there was a health problem or concern with a friend or a family member. Maybe you lost a pet. Maybe it was a time in your life where you lost your innocence. I want to tell you a story about one of the most compelling lemons that I had thrown at me. It was a time of great transformation for me, and I want you to think about this as an extreme example. I want you to look today at what your lessons are from these experiences. I would like you to think about why you were in that position. Was it something that you created? Can you take responsibility for it? And what did you learn from it? So many of us, when we have our difficult times, we get bitter, we get angry, we get frustrated. We blame certain situations that are external to ourselves. And yet I want to tell you that there are times when you can have great benefit in the most difficult of times. So the story I will tell begins when I'm married 19 years. My youngest son is 17. My wife and I have been a team. We've raised the youngest boy and the older boy. We've been through a lot, as all marriages and all relationships are. She was 57. She just had her birthday. She was feeling kind of bloated and nauseous. Digestion wasn't quite right, and she went to the doctor, and the doctor, who at the time thought it was maybe something minor, she should just adjust her diet, was also distracted because she was running for office in the state medical situation. So 7 months into this, with my wife still not feeling well, the doctor finally said, well, we need to make some tests. We're going to get you an ultrasound. When the results of the ultrasounds came back, the doctor dropped us like a hot potato, sent us to an OBGYN surgeon. We sat in the office of this new woman. She didn't have bedside manner. She was very abrupt. We sat down. The first thing she says is, you have ovarian cancer, stage 3C. You have 5 years to live at most. Based on that information, it's a shock to our system. We didn't know what to do. It would be nice to blame something or to try to figure out what was going on, why we didn't deserve to have this happen to us. But my wife took a different approach. She was a strong woman. She was a willful woman. She was a determined woman. She never really spoke with anybody but the closest members of our family about her situation. People did not know she was ill. That first year we had our first major surgery. We had chemotherapy, we had our clinical trials, we had our doctor's appointments. We had our MRIs, we had our CAT scans, we had every test in the book. It wasn't fun going to chemotherapy with her. It wasn't fun learning how to sleep in hospitals or yell at doctors. I don't recommend that anybody learn that lesson. That wasn't something that I would wish on anyone, but it was very important. About 15 months into it, we needed our second major surgery. What I forgot to say is that we had bought a house the year before she was diagnosed up in Oak Harbor. We were going to move, start a new life in the Northwest. We had to wait an extra year until she was stabilized. We eventually moved in the year 2005. My wife passed away in January of 2012. The last year and a half was not a good year. It was not a good time. But what I'm doing here and standing here in front of you is saying, if life throws you a lemon, you learn to make lemonade. And I challenge you to do that as well. What's come out of that for me is a new life. It took me a full year to realize how stressful that whole experience had been. To realize that I actually had PTSD from going through all the procedures, from having my wife die in our home because we thought that would be a good idea. It was beautiful, but it was hard. And I was very naive. I lost my innocence about a lot of things along the way. I use myself as an example. In coming to Bellingham, as I did 1 year ago, I've developed new friends, a new relationship, a new purpose in life. And I'm using some of those important lessons that I gained from the 8.5 years that my wife and I struggled. I get to work with senior citizens. I get to work with caregivers. I get to start a spiritual community because there's so much more to life and there's such a need for community. It wasn't like that woman who lost her child to a drunk driver and started a national organization called MAD. That's turning lemonade and making a beautiful thing out of a very difficult situation. But I ask you to look at the times in your life. Take responsibility for your actions and your piece of that. And find out what it is that you can take from that to then make you a stronger and better human being. Find your way of being of service to the world. I challenge you to take these lessons and go out and do good in the world. And certainly remember that when life throws you lemons, learn to make your lemonade. Thank you so much. Blessings.